up and let freedom ring. An old souvenir from Philadelphia. How about that? Hi, I'm Joe Alton, MD of Survival Top 50's Reader's Choice website, doomandbloom.net, with over 1,000 articles, podcasts, and videos on medical preparedness. Together with my wife, Amy Alton, an advanced registered nurse practitioner, we're the authors of the Book Excellence First Place winner in medicine, The Survival Medicine Handbook, now in its 700-page third edition, the brand new book, Alton's Antibiotics and Infectious Disease, the layman's guide to available antibacterials in austere settings. You want to have that. And the designers of an entire line of medical kits at store.doomandbloom.net. You may have heard me reference TCCC in articles, podcasts, or videos. TCCC, sometimes called T3C or TCCC, is a term that means Tactical Combat Casualty Care, and it represents the military's current recommendations regarding the care of soldiers who have incurred traumatic injuries. These have been so widely accepted that many law enforcement and civilian medical personnel follow these guidelines as well. And well, they should. These protocols were developed at the cost of painful lessons in the field in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's thought that there were 1,000 preventable deaths in these conflicts. And if you extend that to civilian injuries during the same time period, the number of preventable deaths might be in the hundreds of thousands. The TCC's primary goal is to save lives, also to prevent additional casualties, and in true military fashion, to complete the mission. There are 3 zones of care defined by T3C. These zones provide guidance on the appropriate actions that will aid the injured while taking into account the safety of the medic. Very important. The 3 phases include care under fire. During this phase, the medic, and if possible, a mentally alert patient, must continue to actively engage the enemy. Fire superiority is the best medicine to prevent further injuries to casualties and, let's face it, further casualties. Your goal in this situation is to get your victim out of the line of fire, or say, a vehicle that is on fire, and to treat life-threatening hemorrhage with the early and immediate use of tourniquets, all while not getting killed yourself. While under fire, it's recommended to place the tourniquet high and tight on the damaged extremity, as the circumstances don't allow you to really conduct a thorough evaluation of the anatomy. Most other interventions should be delayed until the casualty can be moved to a more secure position. Once you have accomplished this, you move on to the next phase, which is called tactical field care. Once the immediate threat to the medic and patient has been neutralized and a secure perimeter established, limited advanced life support, ALS, measures should begin. Now, this may just involve basic life support, but surgical intervention may be needed to establish, for example, an airway. During this phase, the medic would also work to seal sucking chest trauma, treat attention pneumothorax, bandage wounds, splint fractures, prevent hypothermia, and treat shock. The third phase is tactical evacuation, and this phase focuses on transporting the casualty to higher medical resources for definitive care. It pays to remember the mnemonic, March, PAWS. March is essentially your primary survey. Many of you know about it, but what is PAWS? P-A-W-S. PAWS is your secondary survey. Here's what March and PAWS represent briefly. M, massive hemorrhage. Establish, continue, or improve the control of life-threatening bleeding by whatever means necessary. Tourniquets, hemostatic agents, pressure dressings, pelvic binders, and more. A, airway. Establish and maintain a reliable airway via chin lift, jaw thrust, recovery position, nasal airway, and other devices or procedures. Respiration. Seal open chest wounds, decompress tension pneumothoraxes, and ventilate to assure oxygen gets to the lungs. This may be through a bag valve mask and include the use of oxygen if it were available. Trained pros may even intubate a casualty. C, circulation. Administer fluids IV to treat shock. This may involve giving blood or other related products. H, hypothermia. Remove wet clothing, cover with blankets, get the patient warm, and establish a barrier between the cold ground and the victim. Some add H for head also for treatment of traumatic brain injuries. Once you've evaluated and treated the issues addressed in March, it's time to survey PAWS, P-A-W-S. That refers to P, pain management, A, antibiotics for early prevention of infection, W, wound reassessment and care, and S, splinting, fractures, and providing stabilization to limb dressings. In survival settings, you can't duplicate the care given in a trauma center, let's face it, and your final outcomes won't always be happy. But you can use a number of the methods in March PAWS to possibly save the life of those who would otherwise die off the grid after a disaster. I'll be going over some of these individually in future videos. If you have a topic you'd like me to cover, make sure you make a mention of it in the comments section below. Before I finish, I'd like to thank the authors who contribute to the Journal of Special Operations Medicine, whose efforts allow us to continually adjust TCCC guidelines to save more military, law enforcement, and civilian lives in these troubled times. This is Joe Alton, MD, that old Dr. Bones, wishing you the best of health in good times or bad. Thanks for watching. Find out more about establishing a proper sick room and survival scenarios by checking out our new book, Alton's Antibiotics and Infectious Disease. And hey, don't forget to fill those holes in your medical storage by checking out Nurse Amy's entire line of medical kits, books, and more at store.doomandbloom.net. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.